if it doesn't light you up, it won't sell. And that is your sign to shift things in your business. Hi, I'm your host, Maggie Olson. I'm your business mentor, your human design expert, and the creator of the Magnetic Method Designed to Convert formula. I help women entrepreneurs just like you simplify their strategy, align their sales with their energy, and finally build a business that feels like freedom, not like pressure. After nearly 2 decades in entrepreneurship, I have learned that success isn't actually about doing more. It's about aligning with what already works for you, tapping into your natural energy. And here on the Chaos to Clarity podcast, we're going to blend human design with practical business strategy to help you attract clients naturally, sell with confidence, and grow with ease. So if you're ready to design a business that lights you up, converts with clarity, and learn more about working with me inside of the Magnetic Method mentorship and all of my other programs, you're going to find the link to all of that in the show notes, and you're going to find all of that information here on the podcast. So let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. Hello and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie and I am your host. I'm your business mentor and your human design expert. And this is the podcast for women entrepreneurs who are ready to create a business that feels as good as it looks. And today I want to talk about how I finally organized my business brain. So this episode is for anyone who has ever had a million sticky notes, 47 tabs open, and a mental checklist that just never ever turns off. Because I want to share about what happened when I finally organized my business brain and how I was able to stop trying to mentally hold everything together and start building systems that can hold it for me. But the biggest part of this is how the systems are easy, right? They are not the kind of systems where you have to learn a coding language to understand how to put them together. So let's talk a little bit about the chaos era, because it wouldn't be the Chaos to Clarity podcast if we weren't talking about the chaos that you may be feeling right now that I have felt. So I did not realize how much energy I was wasting trying to remember all the things, things like who paid, who hadn't, who was I supposed to send this thing to, who was I supposed to invoice, when was that happening, right? Like everything needed following up. I had sticky notes everywhere. I still have some of the notebooks that are just filled with notes that I never went back to, which, as a side note to myself, I could probably go through some of my drawers and declutter that, but that is for another day. But I would literally wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. thinking, oh my God, did I send that thing? I need to remember to follow up with this person tomorrow. I have to do that thing too, and I have to get XYZ done, right? Or I would think to myself, wait, did I book a session? Did I send that email? Why isn't it on my calendar? And then I would just go on this tirade trying to figure out and wasting time trying to figure out what was where and who was doing what, right? So my desk was always a mess. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, my desk is still kind of messy. But I feel like that's just how I run my life, right? It's not, I know where everything is. However, I will say that the clutter now is much less than it was before, which is important. And let's not even talk about my DMs here, because my DMs before I organized my business brain, my DMs were filled with half-finished conversations that meant I needed to circle back to. And this is why, right? This right here, my DMs being filled with half-finished conversations, that is why I started to get so passionate about conversations, because I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on your conversations. It's also why I'm so passionate about systems. It's one of the reasons why I said yes to being the director of operations of Sattva, the software as a service company that powers all of my stuff. It's why I said yes to that, because it's exhausting trying to keep up all the things, trying to mentally handle that, plus all of your other life stuff, kids, spouse, home, exercise. Did you eat enough? Did you drink enough? Are you doing this? Are you doing? It's exhausting. And I recognize that. So it wasn't that, I didn't know how to manage my business, because by the time I found Sattva, I was in my coaching business. I had closed the yoga studio, right? I still do photography, but I was on my third business, right? So I didn't realize how scattered my systems were until I discovered Sattva and connected with the founder. And we were having a conversation, and she started asking me different things about how I powered my business, how I was running the behind the scenes of my business. And I know I've talked before about saying how for every one client hour, there's usually at least 1 to 2, if not 3 to 5 overhead hours. I am not kidding you that when I subscribed to Sattva, when I said yes, and I was able to get rid of, I think I got rid of 6 subscriptions. Not only did I save money, but I also saved time. So my client overhead hours and client overhead hours are things like answering emails, creating and scheduling content, DMs, all of that stuff. And like the creation of things, everything that's not being on Zoom with your client would be an overhead, right? So I didn't realize how long it was taking me to do all the things until I was able to unsubscribe from a number of things and bring it all into Sattva. And, I'm a manifesting generator. I kind of love the chaos, if I'm being honest, but I do like there to be some strategy behind the chaos. And I would say the chaos that I enjoy most is the excitement of being able to work on something and be like, oh, I'm going to do XYZ. I have this thing on my list of things to get done today, and I'm going to do this. And then the next thing that I get to do is this thing. So I like to bebop around, so to speak. But the chaos that I was experiencing before I, really was able to organize my business brain, it was exhausting for me, for a manifesting generator. So I imagine that for anyone else who is not a manifesting generator, it must feel impossible, right? So when I think about my business brain and organizing how my business is supporting the client, right? And myself, really. I don't want that to be cluttered. I don't mind some little, like right now, I look at my desk and I have a couple little piles all over, but for the most part, things are relatively organized and they have their place. And in your business, you are also going to want that. So how did I shift this? Okay. When I met the founder of Sattva, one of the things that I said to her was, I am not sure how to hold all of this together. And we started talking about the systems and how I could make things easier and what was really all included in Sattva, which, by the way, is everything, right? It's everything from website to funnels to emails to scheduling to payment processing. It's all there. So when I knew that I wanted to bring this all in one, number one, it was financially savvy of me, because I went from spending like $300 or $400 a month on subscriptions, right? Little subscriptions here and there, to $100 a month. So I was saving already. But opting into something like Sattva.io was like my brain got a business manager. It was basically something for my business to learn how to run itself. Okay, what do I mean by that? So everything that kind of used to live in my notes or my DMs or like that mental checklist had a place to go. It was easy for me to organize my clients, to give them a portal to log into, to share things with them, to, things from like Google Docs, just communication became so much easier, being able to connect with them. But also for me, as I'm generating more leads, having more conversations, doing more, as my business was growing, it was easier for me to be able to utilize Sattva and not have to hope that the zaps between Flowdesk and Honeybook would stay working, or that, the connection between Planoly and Facebook wouldn't go down. Everything is all in one place, or that I would have to upgrade yet again to get the feature that I was needing to use in my business. So everything became clearer, more organized. It became really fun and light to be able to know that, oh my gosh, Sattva can do this, Sattva can do that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I have this tool that can literally do everything, right? So automations in Sattva literally made sure that everyone was getting what they needed as far as emails, reminders, follow-ups, all of that stuff. So my invoices, my workflows, everything is in one place. And as soon as I got my systems in order, my energy completely shifted. I was lit up again to be in my business, right? My sacral, because I'm a Mani-Gen, right? I have a defined sacral. I was excited. I was joyful. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this in my business. I can't believe this is happening for me, this shift. Like, I stopped leaking that energy on remembering and started creating again. So it was easier for me to post. It was easier for me to create content because I wasn't worried about the process behind it. I can just go in and create the content and upload the pictures and do the things and schedule it and be done. And it's not that big of a deal. So the realization behind this, right? Like, so when I realized alignment isn't just energetic, it's also operational. Now, I know this, and I know this from the yoga studio. I know this from the photo business, right? Like, I know alignment is operational as well as energetic. But the thing I didn't realize in my coaching business was that I thought I was energetically and operationally aligned, mostly because I had done the things in the prior businesses by kind of just duct taping it together and kind of just holding it together, because there wasn't really an all-in-one platform that I had found yet. So that's why, when I discovered this, I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Here it is. I'm so excited. So in human design, we talk a lot about alignment. Even in the yoga space, we talk a lot about alignment. But something that doesn't get talked about is the back end of that. Like, what does it look like to be in alignment? And this is something that in my yoga studio ownership days, in my yoga teaching days, now I still teach yoga, but I don't necessarily talk a ton about alignment. I'll talk about like placement of where limbs should go, but alignment is subjective, I've realized. And it's subjective because, what is aligned for me isn't necessarily aligned for you. However, we both need alignment energetically and operationally in order to have a functioning business and really a functioning life, because you can't, at least with kids, right? And even, I would argue, even without kids, you need that operational and energetic alignment in order for things to feel like they're working, for you to not feel like you're losing your dang marbles, just trying to function through your day. So one of the biggest reasons I find that entrepreneurs and people that I work with feel stuck is because they don't necessarily have the clarity that their business can hold space and that their business can breathe, that their systems can flow, that they have this energetic and operational movement in their business. It's kind of like, when a beaver builds a dam in a river and stops the flow of water, well, you have to get that dam out of the way in order for the water to continue to flow, right? It's not always glamorous. Learning systems was not something that I necessarily thought I would need to do. However, learning and implementing the systems that Sattva has is definitely something that has exploded my business and allowed me to not have to work more hours. It's allowed me to work fewer hours. So, like I said, it's not necessarily glamorous, but here's the thing. A lot of times in business, the glamorous parts are like the 1% of the things that people are yapping about on the internet. And, it's the $10,000 days or $100,000 months or whatever that is. That is the glamorous part of business. Not so glamorous part is, how do you get there? How do you set things up for success? How do you clear the chaos so that you can have the clarity, right? You can do it. I know you can. I'm living proof of, I didn't know how to create a funnel or things like that. I learned, right? Even for my photo business, when I first started that business, I didn't know how to build a website. I knew how to code things because I am 40 and, MySpace was a thing, but I didn't know what that language actually was. I just knew that I needed pieces of code, and I knew enough to go and Google them to put the code into the MySpace to do the thing. Now, fast forward, right, into my third business. Yes, I know how to build a website. Yes, I know how to, connect to the things. Does it always work? No. But everything is figure outable. You can Google anything, right? And that is the magic of some of this, is that there is if you don't know something, you can go on Google or ChatGPT it. And here's my gentle nudge for you today. If you're feeling cluttered, like you are waking up and you're like, oh my God, I have all this stuff to do for my business. I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. You need to allow that stuff to come out of your brain. You need to get it out of your brain, whether that is typing it into a Word doc or Google Doc or into ChatGPT and having ChatGPT help you kind of formulate a plan to get all the things done or what order to do them in or whatever. Allowing yourself to get that out is going to help you feel much less chaos, much less clutter. And that's often something that when you work with me, especially in the magnetic method mentoring, when we work together, one of the first things that we do, one of the first calls that we have is a call where you tell me all the things that are in your brain. We go through a list and we get it all out, because then we can start to see how we can piece the strategy together to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. And understanding how to declutter your brain, whether that is behind the scenes systems like Sattva to support your business, or maybe if you're not ready to invest in something like Sattva, how to make the systems that you currently have work so that you have a stepping stone, so that as you bring in more clients, you get more revenue, you have a process to say, okay, I've outgrown this current system, I'm ready to adopt a new one. That is the kind of thing that I help you do right off the bat, because that helps you automate things, set things up, and put things in place so that you're not losing them, so that you know, oh yeah, this is here, this is there, this is how I do ABC. And having that, knowing that as a business owner allows you to grow, because now if you need help, it's very easy to bring someone in, to bring in a VA and to say, okay, VA, I need you to do this. Here's how I do it. Go on your merry way, right? It makes handoff so much easier and simplified, streamlined. And we want simplification. We want streamlined because then your business can grow and you don't have to be in the little mundane things. And I honestly, and this is probably just a topic for another podcast because I don't think a lot of people really understand that simplifying and being able to have a small team is really a flex in business, but also makes your business like the growth and the sell ability, right? The exit plan, something that not a lot of people talk about is an exit plan in business. It makes the exit plan so much easier. It makes your business worth so much more if you have all of that stuff streamlined. So the clearer your systems, the clearer your sales, the easier it is for you to show up, and the more your business truly supports you and the more you'll want to show up and grow it, because it's not going to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to, this thing isn't working and I blah, 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 whatever, like, right, whatever that thing is, you're going to be like, oh wow, I did that. I was able to navigate the things and do the things that make my business run so much smoother. So that's all for me today. If this episode hit home for you, I, as always, would love to hear your biggest takeaway. So make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram. You can find me at Maggie Lynn, Lynn, mentoring. You can also tag at the Chaos to Clarity podcast. You can also tag today at sattva.io. Let us know what your biggest takeaway is so that we can cheer you on. And if you're ready to organize your business brain, right? Whether, that is through one-on-one mentorship with me or exploring Sattva, I would love to help you figure out how to make that possible for you. So as always, in the notes below, you're going to find a link to my calendar. So book an offer audit with me or apply to work one-on-one with me. Either one of those two are really great ways for me to understand where you're at in business right now so that I can give you the best information to move your business forward. Or go ahead and click the link below and give Sattva an explore, go explore Sattva. If you want a demo, also click the link and book a demo with me. And remember, clarity isn't just something that you feel, it is also something that you build. So until next time, here's to creating more ease, more alignment, and more space in your business. I will see you in the next episode. I can't wait to hear all of your takeaways. Have an amazing day.